I am Samal, a professor in the School of Computing at UNL. My research focuses on geospatial data mining, computer vision, image analysis, machine learning, and AI in general.
Hi, my name is Linkyat So. I'm a professor here with the School of Computing at UNL. I'm also the Senior Associate Director for the school. In terms of areas of relevant expertise, I have been working in multi-agent systems and modeling. I've also developed intelligent and smart computer-aided education systems, and I also done work in intelligent data analytics involving machine learning and other AI solutions. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ashley Votruba. I'm an associate professor in the psychology department here at UNL and a part of the law psychology group.
Hi, my name is Ryan Sullivan, and I'm a distinguished professor of law at the University of Nebraska College of Law, where I direct several poverty law programs and research in the areas of civil litigation and access to justice.
Hello, my name is Lisa Pitlick-Zillig. I am a researcher at the Public Policy Center, and my research focuses on trust in institution, public engagement, and conflict resolution.
Hi, my name is Deepti Joshi. I'm a professor in the Department of Cyber and Computer Sciences at the Citadel. My areas of research include natural language processing, machine learning, AI, and spatiotemporal data mining.
When most of us think about justice, we typically picture the criminal justice system, right? But in actuality, the majority of legal issues are actually what we would label civil. These might include legal issues related to housing, healthcare, education, getting divorced, and so on. And so in a lot of ways, these are what we would call the bread and butter issues of the legal system. These are the ones that are most likely to impact people. And when you look at the stats, 3 out of 4 households experienced a civil legal issue in the past year. Now, access to justice is a fundamental human right, but many Americans lack or have no access to justice for when it comes to these civil cases. A study from 2002 found that only 8% of civil legal needs of low-income Americans were met by the current resources available, which suggests that there's about a 92% gap here. And studies also suggest that a similar gap exists for what we would label middle-income households, those households that are above the federal poverty level, but still don't have quite enough money to really fund a legal case. So to a large extent, this gap reflects a lack of resources to address key issues. And this gap is especially impactful for people and communities that have been historically underserved by the legal system. Now, many families do not have the financial resources to hire an attorney. And although legal organizations provide some legal services at reduced or no cost for the people who need it, most organizations cannot provide the scope of services needed for everybody who needs them. And typically, these organizations don't serve middle-income households. Further, some communities lack access to legal resources because they live in what we would call a legal desert. So these would be like food deserts, areas where there's just not enough practitioners, whether those are attorneys or courthouses, to meet the demands of those people. And so when we talk about the access to justice gap, this is what we're referring to.
The national access to justice gap is massive, and it impacts Nebraskans just as much as those in other states. Ashley mentioned a study showing that over 90% of legal needs go unmet. This means that over 90% of low-income Nebraskans who are in need of legal services don't have access to them. 90% of Nebraska families go without justice. And justice impacts every aspect of their lives, from their housing to their finances, access to benefits, insurance, employment matters, and matters involving their families, and particularly their children. In Nebraska, we have literally thousands of laws intended to protect the rights of our citizens. But without access to justice to enforce these laws, those rights are essentially meaningless. Said differently, this access to justice gap means that only a fraction of our population, less than 10%, truly have access and protection under Nebraska's laws, and less than 10% are actually able to exercise their rights under the law and under the Constitution.
So the Advancing Justice Collaboratory is a group of faculty and students here at UNL, and our aspirational goal is to meet 100% of the access to justice needs of the people that are out there. Now, aligned with this aspirational goal, our three-part mission is to develop innovative interventions using technology to improve the scalability and coverage of existing interventions. We also partner with communities and stakeholders to implement and employ and evaluate those interventions to improve their usability and impact. And we also want to provide training to future leaders advancing access to justice to broaden participation and strengthen and grow this interdisciplinary work. Now, our approach is guided by three key values. The first is the idea of interdisciplinarity, which you probably see across this team. We recognize that access to justice is a complex, multidimensional issue, and we adopt a really deeply interdisciplinary approach with the hope of integrating different methods and perspectives, aligning data-driven approaches with theoretical foundations. We also really prioritize evidence in our approach. So we think access to justice interventions should be empirically supported and evaluated. So we're committed to a rigorous approach in our work that wants to be informed by our different areas of expertise. We intend to collect high quality data with what we're doing, and we want to do that with a lot of spatial resolution. So we're thinking large scale and geographically specific at the same time. And then our third key value is empowerment. Our goal is to reduce the justice gap in a way that centers people and communities in our approach. We value engaging with those folks and learning and aligning our mission with their goals.
We want to develop an AI-assisted technology that can improve access to justice by helping people access resources and accurate and easy to understand information that will help them solve their legal problem. We have come up with the label legal ease for this technology, which not only conveys access to justice should be with ease, but also includes an acronym describing our objective of facilitating legal exploration, assistance, support, and engagement. Legal tech is an emerging area of development. This project represents an incredible opportunity to be part of this mashup of technology and legal expertise and this movement towards technology to eliminate this justice gap. Justice should not be something reserved for a select few. Remember, it's justice for all. And technology is the key to making this happen.
Smart assistants are AI-powered tools designed to help people get things done quickly, easily, and often just by asking. You've probably heard of Siri, Alexa, or Google Assistant. These are everyday examples of smart assistants. They can answer questions, set reminders, play music, or even control your lights. But today's smart assistants go much further. Powered by large language models, modern smart assistants can understand natural human language, hold conversations, and perform complex tasks, like helping you write an email, plan a trip, or even fill out important forms. They learn from massive amounts of information and respond in a way that feels human, helpful, and informed. Best of all, they're available 24/7 on your phone, your laptop, or even inside the websites and apps you use. For Legal Ease Nebraska to be truly useful for Nebraska residents, we need a locally fine-tuned large language model or a RAG-based LLM system, one that's been trained or connected to Nebraska-specific legal resources like court forms, statutes, and self-help guides. This ensures the assistant gives relevant, accurate, and state-compliant responses at all times. We would like Legal Ease Nebraska to be multilingual, at least have support for English and Spanish, and be multimodal where it can allow the users to interact in text-based or voice interactions. On top of that, we need a secure backend system to process user input, retrieve information from local legal databases, and generate customized answers. The user experience happens through a clean, accessible interface, usually a chat window, that feels conversational and friendly. Legalese Nebraska should be able to help its users fill out legal forms. And since we're dealing with sensitive legal info, data privacy and security must be built in from the ground up. All of this runs on a reliable cloud or local infrastructure that keeps the assistant fast, safe, and available 24/7.
Access to justice is often shaped by spatial factors. For example, the location of legal services, the local demographics, and socioeconomic conditions. Maps offer a clear and intuitive way to visualize these geographic factors. The Explorer module within this application is designed to support this functionality by allowing users to view the legal resources available in their communities and to make informed decisions about how to access them. The Explorer module offers two key functionalities. First, it allows users to view various legal resources available in their communities through different types of geographic data. The geographic data come in three different forms: point, lines, and polygons. The point data represent the locations of resources, such as attorneys, courts, libraries, legal aid centers. The line data show the infrastructure, like the road networks, and the polygon data represent the outline of boundaries of counties and census tracts. It's important to visualize all of them to understand the spatial context. The second key function of the Explorer module is to support more interactive and personalized engagement. For example, a user may want to find the nearest attorney or the 5 nearest attorneys specializing in family law. After identifying a suitable attorney, they may also want to know what is the estimated driving distance and travel time. The Explorer is designed to support such user-driven queries to help individuals making informed decisions based both on their legal needs as well as geographic accessibility.
The Logger application should track user interactions with the user system for three purposes. First, this will allow researchers and developers to have a detailed understanding about how the application is used. Second, this will also provide insights into user modeling, such as how different stakeholders use the different services and features, as well as how an individual user uses the system over time or over multiple sessions. Third, this will pave the way for future work on community building and user engagement through recommendations and customized services. The logger should keep track of all user interactions and the information such as timestamps, actions, data, and content involved for each session. The logger should also store each session data in a database that has tables, for example, for each session and each user. The logger should also have an interface for researchers and developers to query and review the data. The database can be based on MySQL, for example.
The community builder module is probably least concretely imagined right now, and so we would be very open to the input and creativity of the design team. We're imagining that the community builder module would be a portal through which everyday people, citizens, residents, and members of specific local communities can contribute their thoughts and ideas about how to better define the access to justice gap and bridge the access to justice gap. Through the portal, people might share their observations and stories related to civil justice gaps, helping us better understand what legal challenges people are facing and share their ideas for meeting these needs. They also could participate in research designed to begin to meet the needs which they have helped us to identify. The technical requirements of the Community Builder module include a user-friendly interface where people can share their stories, concerns, and suggestions, and others can comment and build on those initial ideas. This might include the ability to share new news articles and social media links, upload videos, contribute text comments, and upvote ideas or legal issues that many users have experienced. It could also include the ability to tag and search for issues and themes. For example, it could be a good idea to allow users to save items to find later or to follow conversations. We also are thinking we need a mechanism that can compile and summarize community input so we can share those summaries with appropriate stakeholders. So this could include a way for the system to detect and automatically tag conversation topics and subtopics, likely using a large language model. The module should also allow special user categories so that people can search for posts from those specific users. For example, those of us on the research team would be a user category, and we could then announce research studies which people may wish to participate in. The module probably does not need to accommodate the research itself. It's more likely that we'll direct people to a different platform where that research takes place.
When I think about the impacts of this project, I often imagine myself in the shoes of someone going through a divorce or dealing with an issue with their landlord or whatever their civil justice problem might be. I imagine being able to turn to a resource that can assist me in navigating complex social and legal spaces. I imagine this resource freely available anytime I want it. It asks the right questions to get me really useful information about what are the laws, what resources are available, what additional non-legal options might I have, and so on. And more than that, I can come back to the tool, I can update it as the situation evolves, and I can move forward with that tool throughout the process. I see so much potential in a tool like this, and this is our vision. Our goal is that we can use these kinds of tools to reduce the justice gap. And we are really excited to work with you to bring this vision to life. So thank you for your time today. We appreciate it.